So random thought, right? And I'll be having a ton of these throughout the day. Do you think we could ever go back to a time without cameras, like CCTV footage cameras and just camera phones, ring doorbells, all this type of stuff we catch on cameras and the footage do you think we could go back? Like, it's hard for me to even remember a time where we didn't have cameras readily accessible. I don't think I could go back to that time. Like, that feels like the Stone Age at this point in your life. I don't think we can survive. I know that's a bit drastic, but I don't think we can survive without cameras these days, man. We need them. And this video here is the video surveillance camera got something that no one was supposed to see. So let's see.
CCTV has changed the game. Now that there are security cameras like literally everywhere, none of us can get away with anything. In some ways that's good, and in others it's not. There's much debate to be had on that issue, but whether you like them or hate them, their existence has led to a lot of strange and unexpected things being filmed for all of eternity. These are the 20 weirdest things caught on security cameras. Number 20. Kenneka Jenkins. I'm going to begin with one that is both weird and tragic all at the same time, and yes, much of it was caught on camera, which makes it even worse in some ways. This is the story of Kenneka Jenkins, who died at the Crowne Plaza Chicago O'Hare Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois in September of 2017. She was at that hotel to attend a party and then seemingly went missing. The day after, she was found inside of a freezer, and it was determined that she died due to hypothermia. In other words, she died after having been somehow placed or put in or gotten into the freezer. That itself is sad, but it's not all that weird, especially not compared to some of the other videos I'm going to show you. But why am I talking about this tragic death? Well, as shown by security cameras, she was seen by multiple people in the hotel staff going towards the freezer, and yet nobody stopped her. As for why she was going to that freezer, well, it becomes clear that she was highly intoxicated, and it was later found that she had multiple things in her system. That led to her stumbling into the freezer, which was apparently left open for anyone to get into, and why she didn't realize that was happening in there was a bad idea. When her friends who were at the party could not find her, they then called her parents, who then called the hotel, who then called the police. And even with all of that, it wasn't until well into the next day that she was found in the freezer. Police did an incomplete investigation because they felt there was no foul play, and while that may have been true, it's hard to know for certain given the things that were in her system and how the hotel staff didn't try and find her or even stop her from getting in the freezer.
Justice for Kanika! Justice for Kanika!
The family sued for what had happened, and they ended up winning a $6 million settlement later on. It won't bring their daughter back, but it is something to help them cope. Now it's time.
Like, they brought back up something with that, because the entire time I'm watching that video, I'm sitting there like, you know what? That could easily happen to me. I can remember some times, long time ago, younger years, long time ago, where I got pretty messed up, and I could have easily ended up in a freezer somewhere or somebody's home. I think one time, I woke up on, like, I knew the person though, but I woke up on their living room floor. I was done that night, and the next morning I woke up, I was just on their floor, no cover, no pillow, no nothing, just randomly woke up on somebody's floor. Good times, great stuff.
Time for the sweet topic. The video surveillance camera got something no one expected to see. A woman literally falling through the ceiling. You've probably seen this one before because the footage has gone viral before, but that didn't stop it from being utterly extraordinary. Brittany was with a guy named Richard who had tried to use a stolen credit card to make a purchase. Police were called and there was a small skirmish that unfurled, and an officer focused on Richard while Brittany crawled into the ceiling vents to try and get away, only to chaotically crash through them seconds later. The crazy thing is, they were using the card to buy a can of soda. That's it. All for just one can of soda. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below using the hashtag #SweetTopic.
Hey, we listen and we don't judge, right? Because I know a lot of us want to judge right now, but we listen and we don't judge.
19. Video store ghost. Now I'll get back to the main point of this list to talk about something that we can all admit is actually weird, but might not want to admit the true culprit involved. This video is about 14 years old and comes from a video store of all places. That's why you're seeing it in such quality as you are now. Yeah, it's not a recent video, so we'll all just have to make do. In the video, the guy at the store is just doing his job by restocking the videos. What a task to complete your job requirements for the day. A simple life, right? Nothing's going on in the store, that is until he goes to put something up on one aisle and a video drops in the next. That's kind of strange, I would think. He then goes over to that aisle to pick up the dropped video, and no sooner that he does that than a set of videos in the previous aisle fall down. So, what is it that's going on here? Well, the guy didn't want to stick around to find out because he straight up bailed. Does that make him a genius? Well, probably. Most people would just ignore the so-called danger that they're in and say that nothing bad would happen next. As for why these events take place, the video would have you believe that it's a ghost haunting the store, and if that is the case, then that's the tamest ghost ever. Only dropping 3 videos? I mean, why not turn over the whole rack just to screw with people? Why is the ghost being so basic? More than that, likely it was just a set of videos that weren't placed properly, and gravity ended up doing the rest. There's really no need to overthink things. Number 18. Goose attack. Now, I speak from personal experience that geese can be a little bit on the aggravating side. If you go near anything that they think is theirs, they're going to make you wish that you had never been born, and that's something this lady found out the hard way, and I'm sure that she's been traumatized for life. I'll set the scene for you. This woman actually did nothing wrong. She's just trying to get to work that day, and what she didn't know was that local geese had set up their nest near the workplace, and one goose felt that this woman was way too close to her nest. So naturally, she got attacked. Oh, and not only does the goose attack her, it flies in with a vengeance and doesn't give up until it can't attack anymore.
He's looking at her like, whoa, where you going? Where you going? Oh, no. And he just started, hey, fam, I get it, fam. When it comes to your family, you protective.
It becomes full-on beast mode against the woman, and then a car enters the shot, and likely the person who dropped off the woman trying to help her by getting her back into the car. Except that when she tries that, the goose follows her into the car, and it is not going to be denied. It only stops when that woman is able to shove it out, and the 2 people rest inside of the vehicle while they wait for the goose to go away. I mean, seriously, what is up with that? Doesn't that make you fear geese even more? This isn't even the most violent attack that I've seen from a goose in my life. One time I was on my way home in the morning, and some geese were crossing the road, and they just wouldn't move, so I honked my horn, and they actually began attacking my car. The lesson here is that if you're in
Now imagine if you was on your way to work, and they went across the road like that and made you sit there, bro, and you have already been written up several times, so you cannot afford to be late to work. What would you have done? Yeah, them jokers might have been tire tracks.
in an area that may have geese, you don't want to approach them under any circumstances, and you ensure that you don't go near their territory. Both your body and your nervous system will thank me in the end. Number 17. Did you forget something? Now, I'm going to be honest, the next clip could be any one of us on any given day. When you're at the gas station, you're not always paying attention to the obvious things. Admit it. Sometimes you want nothing more than just to fill up your tank and be done with your day. For this woman, it's not an option. As the dashcam footage from a vehicle behind her shows, the woman in the ahead car had just filled up her tank and then decided to drive away. Except that she forgot to take the nozzle out that was attached to the pump. As such, it eventually snapped and hit her car. She came out to see what had happened and seemed more than content to just move it back to the pump area and get back into her car. She didn't even tell the gas station people what had happened. Ironically, it was one of the others at the station who alerted them to what happened, and they had to go and have a talk with that woman. Now, I doubt that anything happened to her here. To be honest, it was a simple mistake, and it does happen all the time. I've even seen it happen in real life. Little do people know that these hoses are actually set up for this kind of thing because people do it so often that they simply detach once the tension becomes too strong. That way it keeps from the gas from spilling out all over the place. You could argue there wasn't anything that she could have done, but she could have tried to be more honest with the gas station attendants instead of just being ratted out and confronted by them later on. It's a responsibility that we all should take, and it's also about class, so let's all try to have some.
He's right, though. It does happen a lot. We've done it. Well, my kids have done it. You know what I mean? My wife pull up, hand the card to one of the boys to get out, pump the gas. They can do it. And she pull off, don't look in the side mirror, and yeah, call me and tell me about that. Imagine how that call went. Yeah, not too good. After that, we laughed and chuckled about it because it's funny. Sorry.
Number 16. Shattering the illusion. In contrast to the last video, I don't know how often the next one would happen to all of you out there. In this clip, we see a woman at a store and she's trying to push open glass doors that are there. And as you can see by how smoothly it's going, it's supposed to be pushed like that. You can even see how they stack on top of each other so that they don't touch one another. Then, when the woman gets to the end of her journey, one of the glass doors suddenly shatters. It's important to note that it's only one of them because you can see just one of them fall to the ground in a million pieces while the other ones are completely fine. The reason this is weird isn't only because it's so sudden, but it honestly makes no sense that it happened like this. So then, how did it happen? How did only one of these glass doors shatter, and why was it that one? It's doubtful that it was a force issue, otherwise every one of these glass doors would have been broken. So then, could it have been a defect in the glass? Was there something hitting the door that we can't see that had caused it to shatter? It's really hard to say, but I bet that woman wasn't going to touch many glass doors in the future. Number 15. The orb. Here's one that is both strange and something you'll find in various videos all over the internet. I mean, after all, we have the classic scene set up here. You can see a security camera for a person's house. It's pointed at nothing poignant, and then out of nowhere, it arrives. An orb of light that seems to hover right in front of the lens and then moves to and fro along its journey. At one point, you can even see two of the orbs in perfect sync. So then, did we just find the first piece of proof of pixies or fairies or other light-based creatures of the mythical world? Well, in a word, no. As many wisely pointed out on the YouTube channel it was posted on, it's likely a spider or some other kind of bug that got caught on camera. Quality of the camera itself, likely mixed with the spotlight that can clearly be seen in the shot, made it seem as though something otherworldly was going on when it was actually just something basic.
If that's a spider, that's a huge spider. And they might want to think about moving. Or that's what I would do in that case if I got spiders that big around my house. It's time to go.
Furthermore, the clone that we see is the true giveaway, as it's a refraction of the light on the camera. So yes, just a simple spider spinning a web where the camera can clearly see it. Number 14. Haunted School. Many of us likely wish that our school was haunted so that we could get out of going to it. Know what I mean? In this case, this school, which is apparently the most haunted one in the area, had a weird video that was posted online that seemed to point to a poltergeist having fun with some lockers. Now, at first, there's nothing happening, and when you see the column of lockers on the left get rocked back and forth until it stops. Then, in the stack of lockers right next to it, one of the doors flies open and a set of papers gets launched out. So yes, it's not something that you see every day, especially inside of a school at night. While it is easy to cry out that it was a ghost, I'm pretty sure that it's something else. Specifically, I think that someone pulled a little prank here, and if you look at how the locker column and the door moved, you're going to see that they stop moving just a bit too quickly once they're not so-called possessed. And it's easy to find a way to launch papers from a locker. So no, it may not be a haunted school. I'm pretty sure that people still go there today. Number 13. A Dobby. Now let's jump to a different weird home security camera setup where this time, it's from a place called La Junta, Colorado. In the clip, which went viral when the homeowner posted it online, it appears to show a lanky creature going down her driveway, which happens to look like a Dobby from the Harry Potter films. That would be quite the discovery on camera indeed. It does a weird walk as it goes down the driveway, and it doesn't look human, especially with its floppy ears. Now, naturally, people wanted to know what it was, especially the homeowner, who had claimed that it had to be something otherworldly. When Inside Edition decided to do a deep dive into the video, that's when they found the homeowner had a son named Bobby, who was 9 years old at the time. Why mention him? Well, he was about the same size as a Dobby, and when you put a pair of floppy underpants on his head and have him do a similar walk, it pretty much lines up with the video.
Finally, this video has been debunked. Thank gosh, bro. You know how many times I've seen this video? That's why I'm shaking my head. It's like, I've seen this so much. But this is the first time they've debunked it. Kid with underwear on his head. Thanks a lot.
Bobby and his mother deny the entire thing that it was actually him, but it wouldn't be the first time that a family worked together to get some fame on the internet. Number 12. Alien Gas Station. This is what many of you have been waiting for. You've been waiting for me to have a video that may or not feature an alien, right? Well, here's your moment of zen, because in this clip, which many have pointed to as a sign of alien life over the years, we see a strange alien-like being getting caught on a gas station camera. It doesn't go into the gas station area, but clearly walks across from it and then proceeds to go into a wide area just across the way. When people at the station began to notice it, they tried to follow it, and allegedly, it disappears once it gets out a certain way. So then, do we have proof of aliens that are just mucking about at a gas station? Well, if it was this easy to prove, don't you think we'd have more stories about it by now? The quality of the footage doesn't help, and if someone from that station did see an alien, why did they just slowly walk up to it instead of trying to capture it? That may have been worth a lot of money to the government. While we do know that you want to see aliens, well, people can do better than this. Number 11. Biking through the store. Now, you do have to admit there are times when you want to do something in the movies, like go on a bike and blast through every place that you can to see how far and fast that you can go. Well, in this clip, one such person and their passenger tried to do just that. They didn't only get on their bike and go, they went and drove all the way through a store, which is obviously not a smart thing to do for a whole lot of reasons. Thankfully, it doesn't appear that anyone got hurt, but if they were being a bit more reckless, not that they weren't already being reckless, then that could have changed very easily. What the most interesting thing about this video is that things cut from security camera footage to what appears to be a helicopter. That seems to imply the two were using the bike to get away from a crime they committed, and that the cops were truly hot on their tail. Either way, don't be like these people. Number 10. The domino effect. The domino effect is something that we've all experienced in one form or another. Specifically, it's the effect where you do one thing, and then another thing happens, and on it goes until something eventually gives way. So then we go to China, where a guy thought it would be a great idea to kick one of the railing markers that was on the side of a walkway. And given what I've been talking about, would you like to guess what happened next?
Oh, just gonna put your hand behind your back, bro. Assume the position, as they would say. You about to catch these handcuffs, fam. What? You know you went to jail.
That's right, the railing markers were all tied together, so when he kicked one of them, that's when they all fell down. You almost have to feel bad for the guy because he's on camera doing it, and he likely didn't intend for it to happen, and yet it totally did. And it's all his fault. Live and learn, the domino effect can happen to anyone at any time.
I wonder if he had to pay something, because he probably would have wanted to go to jail at that point when they tell you how much that's going to cost or what type of fine that comes with.
Number 9. Bear versus chicken coop. Here's a matchup that everyone might think is an easy victory for a certain someone involved. In this clip, we see a bear going into a chicken coop, or at the very least trying to get into one, because despite its best efforts, it actually can't. For the record, bears are emphatically strong. They're quite nimble when it comes to their hands. They're able to open up car doors with ease, so it should have been able to crack open this chicken coop without a whole lot of issue. But instead, it ends up getting repelled. It tries to take on the chicken coop from multiple angles, and it gets repelled in every instance, forced to walk away in shame. The lesson here, try to build something strong the first time, and you won't have to worry about a random animal destroying it. Number 8.
Dang, I thought chicken coops only had to worry about like snakes and stuff like that. Normally that's what I hear people talking about, snakes getting into their chicken coop. But bears, that's crazy. Why don't they put up like a big fence? Like that small little fence, he just was able to just leap over that and he was gone.
Horse in a bar. Now, this is a quick but hilarious video of a horse literally going into a bar and scaring the bejesus out of everyone inside. The looks and the quickness of people as they try to get away from the horse are hilarious, but it was the right move in this scenario. But that leaves the question of, why did the horse walk into the bar? Well, you may be noticing that it's not so much walking as it is hopping into the bar, to the extent that it has something caught on its legs, and it's clearly trying to get it off no matter what. If anything, the people should have stopped trying to run around and be crazy, and instead have helped the horse. Number 7. A bad dog. Do you have a dog? Would you trust it with just about anything in your life? If so, you may want to watch this video and reevaluate that trust. As you can see here, the dog is near a golf cart and it decides to mosey on into it. At first, nothing's wrong. That is until the dog puts its paw in the wrong place and suddenly the cart begins moving on its own. And without a proper pilot in the driver's seat, it then goes straight into a vehicle. Does the dog bolt away in shame? Well, no, it just casually walks out of the cart looking as though it had done nothing wrong. Another lesson, don't leave anything motorized in the on position in case an animal wants to then try and go for a joyride. Number 6.
How much are golf carts? Because I think those things are expensive, right? How much a golf cart? What do you do at that point? Do y'all have insurance on those things? Oh, I need to know, bro. What do you say, bad dog, and then go on with your day or contact your insurance company? What do you do?
A bear in the kitchen. The irony of the title is that I personally know several videos that focus on a bear being in a kitchen, doing exactly just about anything that it wants. Again, bears are nimble animals, and for this bear, in this particular kitchen, it's more than happy to just have a stroll about the place and look for a good snack to consume. To that end, it not only does that, but when a security guard tries to figure out what's taking place with the bear, it then scares the bejesus out of him and forces him to flee while the bear goes on in another direction. It is hilarious in all of the ways that you can imagine. What did the guard think he was going to do against a bear? I mean, it's a bear of all things. And the visuals of his escape attempt just end up being hilarious. Number 5. Glass all shattered. This next one's weird for a much different reason. The video comes from an antique store, and as you can see, everything seems to be kosher until the cabinet glass shatters unexpectedly. It's a rather violent shattering, and it makes you wonder what in the world's going on with that cabinet. The video would have you believe that it was a ghost that had caused the shattering, but I'm not so sure for a whole lot of reasons. First off, it looks like something else was taking place in that antique store, and that someone that wasn't a ghost may have actually caused this to happen. Furthermore, because of the angle, we cannot see all the sides of things, and that makes it possible that something may have hit the cabinet from an angle that would have caused the glass to shatter outward, but the world may likely never know. Number 4. Smoking elephant. Now, believe it or not, this wouldn't be the weirdest of things that we would ever see an elephant do. I know one that paints better than most people, just saying. Check out this elephant. It's doing its thing in the woods when it appears to be blowing smoke. That's something you don't exactly see every day, and the good news is that the elephant isn't actually smoking. Instead, as we find out, the elephant is actually blowing off ashes from a special kind of wood known as charcoal wood because it wants to eat it. That's the kind of charcoal that can apparently act as a laxative, and many animals partake in it, so it's not an elephant that's trying to smoke, it's just one that's trying to relieve itself, which is kinda hilarious. And it's honestly something that none of you would likely have predicted was taking place in this video. Number 3. The night crawlers of Yosemite Park. Now, as I noted in the intro, sometimes you put up a camera to catch something truly weird going on, But in this footage from Yosemite Park, it's exactly what's happening. This is the infamous footage of cryptids known as night crawlers. These weird, pants-like aliens are ones that have been claimed to be from this area for a long time. There's even merchandise for this particular cryptid, and everyone wants to see more of it apparently. We don't have an immediate explanation for what it could actually be or what it's not, but I will say that these have never been seen beyond this camera footage, so that should give you some hints as to what's going on here. Number 2. Clowns. Now, we had to have a clown video in this list, didn't we? There are people who do really hate clowns, and equally as bad, there are those who know that people really hate clowns, and they attempt to freak them out in any way possible by dressing up as a clown and lurking in certain neighborhoods. You may recall a certain set of clowns in the forest that happened a couple of years back in multiple countries. Well, this one is a clown coming up to your front porch to freak you out kind of thing. And this clown knew exactly where to look to make it appear as though they were staring right at the door camera. Why would someone want to do this like this? Well, maybe they have nothing better to do with their lives.
Then they need to go find them something better to do. Don't play with me like that, bro. Killer Clowns, It, John Wayne Gacy, all of those clowns make me think bad things, bro. And I'm not playing with no clown, bro. I'm not.
Probably live with their mother and sit on their computer all day. Who really knows? Number 1. Bear and the Sleeper. This is a classic that is just too hilarious to be real, and yet it actually is. In this final bear video, we see one that strolls into a guy's backyard while he's lounging around in a pool chair having a nap. The bear naturally goes to feel the pool to see what it's like, and then he spots the man and goes up and gives him a little bit of a nudge. Clearly, he wants to know if he can take a dip in the pool. He's such a respectful bear after all. It's a well-known fact that bears can do a great many things, and one of the things that they actually love to do is to go swimming. So it only makes sense that the bear would have strolled into his backyard for a quick dip on a nice and sunny day. However, when you take a nap around the pool, the last thing that you expect to be woken up by is a huge beast. And once the guy does wake up, both of them have a good scare, and the bear ends up running away. It's a pity, because I would have loved to have seen it continue and watch the bear swim around in the pool. Maybe they could have even had some Mai Tais together. The guy who owned the pool, well, not so much. That's all from the realm of weird footage that various security cameras have captured, and I'm grateful that they did. Which of these pieces of footage do you agree is rather weird and happy to see unfold? Perhaps you know of another piece of weird footage that could have fit onto this list.